My name is Fiona. I'm 44, just still, not 45 yet. Still in the
No,
earlier
hold
half.
on, hold on.
I work as a dentist, busy job, mum of 2 kids, got a husband as well. So pretty busy life. Pretty guilty of not taking time for me, particularly in the past, putting the family before myself and not exercising like I should and eating too much rubbish in
So
the past.
busy lady, and that was like one of the big things that we had to talk about when we first spoke. So if we move into about that time when we first spoke, that was maybe about four months ago, 5 months ago now. Can't really remember. What was it that you needed help with? Why did you want to change?
Sick of constantly yo-yoing my weight, losing a stone, putting it back on, losing even a stone and a half, putting it back on, and never maintaining the weight loss. Just fed up of feeling heavy, and I needed to break the cycle once and for all.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know tell us a little bit about how that then was impacting on like your overall self-confidence, that every time you tried something it was like,
Yeah, it was. I mean, my confidence generally not too bad, but and other things. But I was sort of fed up of not being able to. It makes me sound like a control freak, but I was in control of other areas of my life and was successful there, and it almost annoyed me that I couldn't, or I could lose the weight, but I wouldn't maintain it, and then I'd put it back on, and it was just trapped in a cycle of I was good at losing it, but I couldn't keep it off.
Yeah.
So I needed help to change things so I wasn't yo-yoing all the time.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what did you achieve then? What was your big achievements during the time that we worked together?
I think I started to take accountability for myself with your help and realised the key is within me, and you need to stop making excuses for things, and you need to be responsible for your own behaviours and take action. And it's about breaking it all down into little steps, and with Emma's help I got there.
Absolutely did. So remind me, how much weight did you lose when we were together? How much weight in inches? Can you remember off the top of
Just a pound off 2 stone and 20 something inches.
Yeah, I think it was 25 from memory, 25 inches.
Yeah, I can't remember, but 20 something.
Results.
Yeah.
Incredible results. What was your biggest breakthrough or win, do you think?
Realising at some point there was a light bulb moment, and I just realised I could do this by almost breaking it down into little individual habits, drinking more water, just changing the diet sort of gradually. I suppose the biggest breakthrough is mentally. You know, physically, yes, I've lost the weight, but mentally I feel stronger. Mentally I feel in control. Mentally I feel I'm in control of my weight and my health. It's not controlling me. And I feel for the first time in years and years and years and years that I'm not going to put the weight back on. The last couple of weeks, not been pushing myself as much as I did. I've not put weight on. I'm thinking on a daily basis about what I eat, but it's a habit to think about what I eat, but not in a bad way. Just you sort of make choices, and yes, I'm still eating and drinking the things I like, just lesser amount or a different type of something, if you know what I mean. Like if I'm having chocolate, I'm thinking about what chocolate I'd want, what I really like. I'm not eating something for the sake of it. If I'm enjoying what I eat more.
Yeah.
I'm definitely eating healthier.
Absolutely. So it's kind of less of that mindless, almost just eating for the sake of eating.
The sake of it, yeah.
Fantastic. That's a huge one. Huge one.
Yep.
And
it's
there you go.
Yeah. It's in my head. There's just certain habits that if you do them for long enough, then they become, you don't think about them. I can't remember there's a word for that other than but yeah, it just drinking water and stuff like that. I bet do more of that. I am doing more of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Fundamentally much healthier physically and mentally, having that Whereas when we first spoke, it was always, you were very much like, I know I can lose it, and you've just said that, but it got to the point where you knew you could lose it, but you also knew that you would gain it a week again.
I was, when I was losing weight before, I was sort of restricting on what I was eating, almost restricting myself so the weight would come off. But then as soon as you stop that, I put the weight back on. Whereas I almost know now, like I could, if I roughly add these calories and eat that certain amount, that will keep my weight stable. If I want to lose some pounds, then I know where I need to drop things or need to do things to do it. And it's a bit surreal at the moment because I'm not out and about in the same way, and my normal routines are out, and you're not in the same routine as you normally are, so it's more of an effort. But as long as I don't go back up and continue to slowly go down, then I'm happy.
The good thing is, if you can adapt to crises or, you know, periods of instability where things aren't normal, then and you can go through that without going back to where you were, then you can tackle absolutely anything. So absolutely grand. So what would you say, what was your biggest challenge then?
Biggest challenge would have been just always getting sort of started initially, taking the plunge. Once I actually got started and trusted the process, followed all the sort of steps, then it was, I wouldn't say it was easy, it wasn't easy at all, but somebody had self-belief in me there, and then I then followed that through myself. But the biggest challenge for me was actually getting started in the first place. And then realizing it's not just doing this for 90 days, I'll have the drop the weight and that's it. It's putting it into a lifestyle change, so you're then going forward. And it's realizing, for me, it wasn't, as I say, it wasn't following the steps that was the hardest and the biggest challenge. It was dealing with things inside my head and letting myself believe I'm worth it, actually. Which I don't mean that to sound, I thought I was a pathetic little pet, but it was like, it's about taking time for me.
Invested the time, invested the energy, and you're a whole new different person.
Yep.
Love it. So finally then, Fiona, what would you say to anyone that is thinking about working with me?
Do it. You won't regret it. Trust the process, and actually trust yourself, because there's a strong person inside of us, and every one of us, I believe. But you sometimes need help to find that.
Absolutely agree. And I think like what you were saying before about you're successful in every other area of your life, and typically that's where you're not a control freak. I know you've said that yourself already, but not having a full handle on 100% of everything you do gets people in such a bad way, and being able to almost outsource bits of it, going right, okay, I'll speak to someone. Like if your roof fell off, you wouldn't go out and try and tackle it yourself. You know, it's about it, and that kind of frame of mind. I think from like the biggest turnaround from speaking with you to where you are now is this is life now. This is not a diet. This is not a short-term fix for going on holiday. And the excitement that you have about the future, about where you're going, is incredible.
Well, I know before it was like, right, I've got to lose a stone and a half. And then I'd keep going further, and then for whatever reason I'd stop, put the weight back, and right, time to start again. And it was always focusing on the diet and the points and the food, and whereas yes, that matters obviously, but there was never anything. And your mind's the strongest part of your body, not any muscles. So if your mind works well, then the rest will.
Fantastic. Oh, now that is a statement to go out on. So would you say that like having that time, that 3-month period where you worked on, you know, different things, not just nutrition, not just exercise, has that then benefited the results that you're going to get in the future? Is that you?
Definitely. And I think you need to look as well, you know, we've all got areas where you need a few home truths, and like mine, particularly with sleep and I'd always make excuses like, I can't do this because of this, I can't do this because of that, often blaming kids, a busy lifestyle, and excuses are that, they're just excuses. If you want something, you'll work to get it.
Absolutely. Fantastic.